anyone will watch this, but it's cold outside, it is snowing, so it's another reading stream time. Today I will be reading from The Babysitter's Club, number 121, Abby in Wonderland. It's kind of a sequel to the story I read yesterday. Let me read the back of it. Abby loves her family's visits to Grandpa Morris and Grandma Elsie's summer house. Staying there has always meant extra fun and a special closeness with her grandparents. This summer, though, Grandma Elsie doesn't seem to be herself. She tires easily, even when she and Abby are enjoying work on Graham and Grandpa's big Alice in Wonderland party. Abby's afraid something's wrong with Grandma Elsie. If she's right, Abby's world may become as topsy-turvy as Alice's. All right. This came out in 1998. I was 3. Chapter 1. Slowly my eyes opened. The brightness of the morning light streaming into my bedroom told me I'd slept late. An uneasy feeling began to grow inside me. There was something I was supposed to do today, but I was still half asleep and couldn't remember what it was. Think, Abby, I commanded myself as I rolled over and checked my clock. 10:30. Wow, it was even later than I thought. I love sleeping late during summer vacation, but I hate not having a regular schedule to follow. I rubbed my eyes once I was more awake. I'd remembered what was special about today. Then I saw it. My suitcase. It lay open on the floor and was completely empty. How could I have possibly forgotten? We were going on vacation today. I was instantly wide awake. Last night I'd assured my mom that by morning I'd be fully packed and ready to leave for our 8-day vacation in the Hamptons on Long Island. My grandparents have a summer house out there, and my mom, my twin sister Anna, and I were going to visit them. But last night, just as I began packing, my friend Christy Thomas called. I brought the cordless phone into my room, and we talked for a long time about what we'd do when she came to stay with us for the second week of our visit. By that time, we were done talking. I was tired and didn't feel like packing. I promised myself I'd wake up early and do it. Well, it was obviously too late to wake up early. My only choice now was to fly around my room and throw things into the suitcase as quickly as possible. Hello. Oh my gosh, this chair. Okay. Hello, Water Eater. Hello, not sure how to pronounce that username or that username, but hello, everybody. Okay, let's see. As I proudly... Wait, okay. Sorry, I lost my place. Here we go. Oh, just doing another reading stream. Just nothing really else to do today because I don't work today and it's snowing outside, so. All right, here we go. I found where I was. Tossing off my blanket, I swung my legs to the floor. After one long stretch, I jumped up and crossed the room to my dresser. With a neat hook shot, I transferred my socks and underwear from the top drawer into the open suitcase. I used the same method for drawer 2, containing shirts. Drawer 3 held shorts, and drawer 4 was night shirts. All packed within minutes. It was pretty simple, really. I don't know why people make such a fuss about packing. Honestly, me neither. Yeah, it's very relaxing. Okay. As I proudly surveyed my rapid packing work, Anna came into my room. She was already dressed in white shorts and a blue t-shirt. She gazed down at my open suitcase. "What happened to it?" she asked. Behind her glasses, her brown eyes widened in alarm. "What do you mean?" I asked as I snatched two racing-style bathing suits from the hooks on the back of my door. "Your suitcase is a mess," she cried. "Who cares? Your clothes are going to get unbelievably wrinkled," she pointed out. "You'll have to iron everything." Yeah, right. I couldn't picture myself ironing anything, especially on vacation. "We're going to the beach. It's all right to be a little wrinkled." Anna stooped to the suitcase and started folding my shirts. "You won't be a little wrinkled," she commented. "You'll look like one big wrinkle." I rummaged in the bottom of my suitcase for my neon green flip-flops. "I like wrinkles," I insisted as I found one of them, but not the other. Anna and I are identical twins, but we have a lot of differences. She is much more calm and sensible than I am. I do things as they come to me. I don't plan every little step. Someone once described me as spontaneous. I like to go, go, go. I love sports and I keep moving. Anna, on the other hand, can sit for hours practicing her violin. I admire her concentration and calm, but sitting still that long would drive me crazy. At first glance, we don't even look that much alike anymore. As we've grown older, our individual styles have led to differences in our appearance. We both have curly brown hair, but I wear mine long while Anna keeps hers short. But both of us have poor eyesight. Our glasses have different frames though. Or on a particular day, I might wear my contact lenses while Anna wears glasses. I'm slightly taller than Anna. Lately though, she's been standing straighter than before because of her brace. Anna has to wear a brace to help correct her scoliosis, which is a curvature of the spine. She wears it under her clothes and it's hardly noticeable. The doctor says she can do without it in a few years. My cousin has scoliosis. With Anna now standing straighter, the difference in our heights is minuscule. "Did you pack your inhalers?" Anna asked. "They're in my backpack. There was no danger of my forgetting those. I have asthma and always need to be prepared for an attack." Not only did I have my inhalers, I had my allergy medicine. I have a million allergies and they're always worse in the country. Stony Brook, the Connecticut town we live in, is countryish enough. The part of Long Island where my grandparents' vacation home is located is even worse. Even though my grandparents live by the beach, there are woods all around their house. There was not a chance I'd go there unprepared. "Ready, girls?" Mom called from down the hallway. "Yes," I replied. "Not yet," Anna answered at the same time, our voices overlapping. We looked at each other with amused expressions. "I'm ready," I said to her. "No, you're not," she disagreed. I took the t-shirt she'd been folding and tossed it into the suitcase. "It's fine the way it is," I said, shutting the suitcase and zipping it. "Really." I heard the phone ring and then stop, which meant Mom had picked it up. I listened for a moment, but she didn't yell for Anna or me. Obviously, the call was for her. Anna reopened my suitcase and continued folding my clothes. "You'll thank me when you open this," she said before I could object. It's one of those twin things. So often, one of us responds to something the other hasn't even said yet. I dropped to the floor and I lay on my stomach. Reaching underneath my bed, I pulled out a deck of cards, a Scrabble game, and a box of stationery. Things to do in the country on a lazy summer night. Not that Grandpa Morris and Grandma Elsie are dull, far from it. They they always have some project or another going. They've slowed down slightly since Grandpa's heart operation not long ago. It was a triple bypass surgery, to be exact. And I knew this would be an especially busy week since they'd be planning the anniversary party they always throw for themselves in August. Mom scheduled her vacation for this week just so we could be out there to help them. I was really looking forward to it. I hadn't seen most of my relatives since Anna's and my bat mitzvah. Since my family is Jewish, we celebrated our birthdays recently with a religious tradition. It's called a bar mitzvah for a boy. I wanted to see one relative in particular. My Aunt Miriam would be there with her baby son Daniel. I'm wild about Daniel. He is the cutest baby I've ever seen. I was dying to see him again. Miriam, too. Miriam is my mom's sister. I didn't meet her until recently, though. She'd been estranged from my mother and my grandparents for years. Mom said everyone was sick of bailing Miriam out of the messes she was always getting herself into. But not long ago, after we discovered Miriam was sick and in the hospital, they all made up. After she left the hospital, Miriam and Daniel stayed with us. Then, when Miriam's health improved, they went to Florida to stay with my grandparents for a while. It had been months since we'd seen them. Mom appeared at my bedroom door wearing an odd expression. It was a cross between apologetic and annoyed. Slight change of plans, she said. That was my office on the phone. We're not going, I moaned, sitting back on my heels. I knew it. I hadn't really known it, but on the other hand, it wasn't unusual for something like this to happen. Mom is the executive editor at a major publishing house in New York City. She's a big deal there and super devoted to her work. Sometimes her job really irks me. It seems to get in the way every time we try to do something as a family. Mom wasn't always such a workaholic. While my dad was alive, she was much more laid back. But when Anna and I were 9, he was killed in a car accident. For a while, it seemed as if all the laughter and joy were gone from our lives and would never come back. Mom was a wreck. Anna and I were practically running the house ourselves. But one day something changed. Mom seemed to wake up, and overnight she kicked into high gear. I know she was determined to support us properly. But I think this was also her way of dealing with her grief. She threw herself into work so she wouldn't have time to think about Dad. Our new workaholic mom did so well at her job. Before long, she was able to move us into the big house where we now live in. Family life is good again, though it will never be the way it was when Dad was alive. The three of us go our separate ways a lot of the time, and that was why I was looking so forward to this trip, to spending time together. I can't believe it, I cried. Grandma and Grandpa are going to be so bummed. I'm bummed. Calm down, Abby. We're going, my mother assured me. But my secretary is faxing a book proposal to me that I have to look at this afternoon. They simply can't commit to it before I read it. Can't they do anything in that office without you? I complained. It just means we'll leave this evening instead of right now, Mom said. Sorry, girls. It's all right, Mom, Anna said. She's always nicer about things like this than I can bring myself to be. Will I have time to go to my Babysitters Club meeting? I asked, suddenly seeing a bright side to this. I told Christy I wasn't coming, but if I can go, I might as well. You can't take any sitting jobs this week, Anna pointed out. I know, I just like the meetings. You can go, Mom said. It'll make my goal to be done with the proposal by 6. We can pick you up at Claudia's house and head out from there. Cool, I said. That will make Christy happy. Christy is the president of the Babysitters Club, or BSC. I'll tell you about it very soon. Now you have time to pick properly, Anna added. Or to pack properly, Anna added. I looked at my suitcase and sighed. Even with the extra time, I didn't think I'd have the patience to fold all that stuff. Whatever, I said with a disinterested wave of my hand. But hey, I'm starved. Let's have some breakfast. I've already eaten, Anna said, frowning at my suitcase. I headed out of my room. With any luck, Anna would fold everything for me while I ate. Chapter 2. Abby, what are you doing here? Stacy McGill cried as Christy and I strolled into the BSC meeting that afternoon at 5:27. You may wonder how I know it was exactly 5:27. Easy, I always check the clock when I come in. That's because we start our BSC meetings at 5:30 pronto. I grinned. Mom's job sabotaged us again, but it's only a delay. We're leaving after the meeting. You're so lucky to be going on vacation, Claudia Kishi said as she tore open a bag of potato chips. While you're relaxing on the beach, you can think of us poor souls working away here. Maybe I should explain about the BSC now. I'm the most recent member of the club. There are 6 other regular members plus 2 associate members and 1 honorary member. We, the 7 regulars, meet in Claudia's bedroom every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday afternoon from 5:30 to 6 to take calls from parents who want to hire us to babysit for their kids. It's an awesome idea, really. 1 call and bam, a parent has 7 possible sitters on the line. Christy came up with the concept. One afternoon, she was watching her mother make call after call, searching for an available sitter for Christy's little brother. So Christy, bright light that she is, came up with the brilliant plan of bringing sitters together at specific times in one place and spreading the word to parents. Wow, that was a mouthful. Okay. She recruited her friends and neighbors, Claudia, Marianne Spire, and Stacy. With the 4 of them ready, the original Babysitters Club was in business. The club was instantly successful. The girls soon had more jobs than they could handle, so they added another member, Dawn Schaefer, who is a total bitch and no one likes. No, it doesn't say that. When Stacy left for a while, she moved. They brought in 2 11-year-old junior officers, Mallory Pike and Jessica Ramsey. The rest of us are 13. Unexpectedly, Stacy returned to Stony Brook, and by the time there were so many clients that the club was able to take her back and keep Mallory and Jessie as well. Then Dawn moved away, and we all celebrated because nobody likes that bitch. Then Dawn moved away and was replaced by me right after I moved here. By 5:30, everyone was sitting in Claudia's room. Let me introduce you to the club members. I'll start with Christy. She is president of the club, and not just because she thought of it. She runs it with brains, tons of energy, and a great sense of fun, and a pinch of intimidation. Or maybe you could call it plain old business. When I first met Christy, that bossiness really got on my nerves. Who did this little squirt? She's the shortest girl in our class. Think she was telling me what to do. Slowly, though, I saw things in Christy I hadn't initially seen. For instance, she cares so much about people that when she comes up with a project to help them, she'll move mountains to accomplish it. She has no patience for anything that stands in her way, which is why she might sometimes seem a little blunt or even insensitive, but she gets things done. I gained more respect for her when I learned a little about her family background. At first, I thought Christy was just this rich kid living in a mansion with all her happy brothers and sisters. I assumed everything had just been handed to her. That wasn't true. Christy, her mother, and her 3 brothers had been through some hard times. Their father deserted them shortly after David Michael, Christy's younger brother, was born. What a creep. Their mother had to struggle to support them all. She did it, though. They were already on a pretty even keel when she met Watson Brewer, who became Christy's stepdad. Watson just happens to be mega rich. When he married Mrs. Thomas, Christy and her family moved across town to the neighborhood where I live and where Watson's mansion is located. The household now includes Christy's adopted sister, Emily Michelle, who is about 2.5. Watson and Christy's mom adopted her from Vietnam. Plus Karen, who's 7, and Andrew, who is 4. They're Watson's kids from his first marriage, and they live there every other month. The remaining time they're with their mother. Mrs. Brewer's mother, who everybody calls Nanny, lives there too. You can see Christy has lots of adjusting to do. Maybe it's because of all I've been through with my dad's death that I admire people who can roll with the punches, as the saying goes. Next, let me tell you about Mary Ann Spire. She and Christy are very close. They grew up together. They were next-door neighbors before Christy moved. They are both petite with brown hair and eyes, but they're very different. While Christy is a talker, Mary Ann is a listener. She's quiet and sensitive. She hasn't had an easy life either. Her mother died when Mary Ann was a baby. For a while, she lived with her grandparents. Then her father took her back and raised her. I hear he was super strict and had a million rules for everything, including what Mary Ann could wear. I've seen photos of her in 7th grade. She was dressed in pleated skirts and wore braids, the pits. Mary Ann was the first babysitter to befriend Don Schaefer, although I don't know who would want to be friends with Don Schaefer because Don is a horrible person and deserves to be locked up far, far away where no one can ever find her. Mary Ann was the first babysitter to befriend Don Schaefer when she moved to Stony Brook. They didn't appear to be a natural match. Dawn is tall and breezy with long blonde hair and a nice casual style. She's not quiet like Mary Ann. She's quick to speak up, especially when she cares about something such as an environmental issue that she will drive you completely insane about and does not know when to shut up. Nonetheless, they became friends and that changed their lives. Dawn had come to Stony Brook from California because her parents had recently divorced. Her mother was originally from Stony Brook and was returning home. One day, Dawn and Mary Ann were looking through Mrs. Schaefer's old high school yearbook when they discovered that she and Mary Ann's dad, Richard, had been a couple in high school. They hatched a plan to get the two of them back together. Believe it or not, it worked, which is a shame because that means Dawn is in her life. Mary Ann and Dawn were soon stepsisters. Then the big shocker came. Dawn decided she missed California and wanted to live with her brother, father, and stepmother. A major bummer for Mary Ann, but a major excitement for the rest of the Babysitters Club because Dawn is such a bitch. A major bummer for Mary Ann and a problem for the BSC, who now had to replace Dawn. Luckily, a fabulous new girl with wit, charm, and leadership had just moved into town from Long Island and was able to replace her. Just kidding, sort of. Dawn comes back to visit sometimes, which is a living hell. Dawn comes back to visit sometimes and always attends meetings when she's here, even though I don't want her to, even though I just want to shove her down the stairs. She always attends meetings when she's here. She's the honorary member I mentioned. In fact, she's been here and coming to meetings all this summer. Oh God, you mean Dawn's here right now? Dear Lord, please be with their Babysitters Club as Dawn is there with them. Amen. Okay. Although she wasn't at this meeting, yay! Although she wasn't at this meeting because she had a back-to-school doctor's checkup, I couldn't believe school was only a few weeks away. That means Dawn's going back to California. Woo, woo, woo. No more Dawn, no more Dawn. Woo, woo, woo. Okay. We don't like Dawn. Okay. I'm not the only replacement member, of course. Jessie and Mallory, as I said, replaced Stacy when she moved back to New York City. Stacy, who is pretty with blue eyes and permed blonde hair, was born in Manhattan. When she was in 7th grade, her father was transferred to Stony Brook. Then, after Stacy had become a club member, his company transferred him back. That's when Jessie and Mallory joined. But once the McGills were back in Manhattan, Stacy's parents decided to divorce. So Stacy returned to Stony Brook with her mother and resumed her place in the club. I feel very comfortable with Stacy, although we aren't super close. Stacy already has the best friend, Claudia. Well, that's better than being friends with Dawn. Okay. Manhattan isn't all that far from where I lived on Long Island. Stacy and I have similar ideas about what's cool and what's not. I have to admit, Stacy is a more fashionable dresser than I am. I like sporty casual clothes. Stacy likes sophisticated clothes. She shops in New York a lot because she sometimes visits her dad there on weekends. Life isn't all clothes and shopping for Stacy. She's a good student, a whiz at math, and she has problems like everyone else. Besides having to deal with her parents' divorce, she has a lifelong health problem, diabetes. Being diabetic means Stacy's body can't properly regulate sugar in her blood. She has to give herself injections of insulin every day, and she needs to watch her diet very carefully. Sweet treats are out. Although she can't let herself get too hungry, she's always munching on carrots and some other healthy snacks. Now let me jump back and tell you about Jessie and Mallory. They're best friends and 6th graders. We call them junior officers, which means that they can only sit during the day, unless they're babysitting for their own siblings. That's a big help because it frees the rest of us to take jobs in the evening. Jessie and Mal are the oldest kids in their families, so they have a lot of experience with younger kids. Their families are pretty different though. I don't know anyone else with a family like Mallory's. She's the oldest of 8 kids. Let me see if I can remember them all. The triplets, Byron, Jordan, and Adam are 10. Vanessa is 9. Nikki is 8. Margot is 7. Claire is 5. Can you imagine all those kids in one house? Sure, Christy is one of 7, but 2 of those are part-time, and she lives in a mansion. Mallory seems to deal with it well. She has a great sense of humor, a bit on the dry side, which I like. She's fun to have around. She wants to be an author-illustrator of children's books. I bet her books will be very imaginative. Mallory's already won some writing awards at school. I know someday I'll see her face on a book jacket. And I think she has a cute face, even though Mal doesn't think so. She has curly reddish brown hair and wears glasses and braces. Jessie is delicate and graceful and pretty in a classical way. Classical is a good word to describe her. She's a serious ballet student and she has the talent to succeed in the ballet world. Like Stacy, Jessie moved here because her father transferred to Stony Brook. Her family moved into Stacy's old house. Mostly white Stony Brook was a bit of a shock for an African American family like the Ramseys, who were used to integrated neighborhoods, like the one they lived in New Jersey. The shock came when they encountered some small-minded, prejudiced people who didn't make them feel exactly welcome. Fortunately, the bigots didn't triumph. The Ramseys soon became part of the community and found that most of Stony Brook was happy to have them there. The racist creeps were noisy, but there weren't very many of them. Both of Jessie's parents work, so her Aunt Cecilia lives with them, and she cares for Jessie's baby brother, John Philip Jr., more commonly known as Squirt. Jessie's other younger sibling is her sister Becca, who is 8. Last of our regular members, but not the least, is Claudia. Now here's a unique person. No one else looks like her. No one else is like her. Claudia is a Japanese American with gorgeous long black hair, almond-shaped eyes, and a beautiful face. I say she looks unique because of the way she puts herself together. Claudia has an eye for color and style that is all her own. Today she had on orange leggings and a yellow tunic of which she'd sewn wild zigzag patterns of tiny beads. Her dangle earrings were also handmade from a combination of clay beads and the same small, sparky beads she used on her tunic. Her shoes were a deep aqua. She looked like a human sunset. Claudia is an artist. In fact, art is her life. To her, school is just a distraction from art. She really has to force herself to concentrate enough to pass. I think she just wishes school would go away so she could think about creating things full time. It won't, and she can't, of course. This problem is aggravated by the fact that her 16-year-old sister, Janine, is a card-carrying genius. But Claudia is herself, and nobody can make her into anyone else. Although her parents try, they forbid her to read the Nancy Drew mysteries she loves. Not academic enough, they say. They forbid her to eat junk food she adores. And naturally, they want to see better grades. So Claudia hides the mysteries, hides the junk food, and does just enough in school to pass. I admire her determination to do the things that make her the happiest. Shannon Kilborn and Logan Bruno are our associate members. They don't attend most of the meetings, but if we're offered a job that no one is able to take, we call them. Shannon has 2 younger sisters and lives near Christy and me. Anna has become very friendly with her. She doesn't go to Stony Brook Middle School like the rest of us. She's a student at Stony Brook Day School, a private school, where she is involved in lots of extracurricular activities, such as the debate team, the astronomy club, and the honor society. Logan is not only an associate, he is also Marianne's boyfriend. He's a nice guy with a great southern accent. He's originally from Kentucky. His sports activities keep him really busy since he plays on at least one school team per season. When he's available to sit, though, the kids love it. That's who we are. Now here's how the club works. When the phone rings, the person sitting closest to it answers it. She takes the client's information and says we'll call right back. Then she gives the information to Marianne. Marianne, as the club secretary, is in charge of the record book. That's where we keep information on everyone's schedule. For example, if I have an appointment with the allergist or an after-school soccer game, it's in there. So Marianne can see right away who's available for the job and assign it to someone. She manages to spread the jobs around so or somehow she manages to spread the jobs around so that there's no complaining and everyone works as much as she wants to. We then call the client back and say who will be sitting. We're usually busy and the phone rings a lot. When we're not busy, we write in the club's notebook. The notebook is where we keep a journal of our babysitting experiences. It's a good resource if we want to know what's happening with our clients. Once a week, we pay dues. Stacy, as resident math whiz and treasurer, collects our cash. Though we sometimes complain about handing over our money, we know it's necessary. We use the funds to pay Charlie, one of Christy's older brothers, to drive Christy and me to Claudia's house, and we pay a portion of Claudia's phone bill with the dues. We also use the money to restock our kid kits, decorated boxes of interesting odds and ends, such as stickers, coloring books, art supplies, small hand-me-down toys, and so on. These kits are our secret sitter weapons. We take them along with a kid, or when a kid is sick or doesn't know us well, or the weather is bad. They're pretty effective distractions. Christy, the idea machine, is always coming up with entertaining projects to do with the kids, and those often require us to tap the treasury too. When there is money left over, it's easy to find something fun to spend it on. Pizza parties, slumber parties, a club trip to the movies. 2 other BSC members hold offices in the club. Claudia is vice president since we use her room and phone. She's in charge of hospitality, which means snacks. This is a natural for the junk food queen, although she always thoughtfully puts out something healthy for Stacy. As for me, I'm the alternate officer, which means I have to know how to do everything in case someone misses a meeting. I haven't had to substitute often, though I once had to step in as president when Christy's family went to Hawaii. I loved that idea, but it turned out to be a hard job. It definitely increased my respect for Christy. I hope we get some calls today, Claudia said. Now that camp has ended, I have time again. This summer, she was a counselor at the Stony Brook Elementary School playground camp. So were Logan, Dawn, and Marianne. But with summer nearly over, camp had ended. I don't know. Oh wait, Dawn was a camp counselor? Oh, those poor kids. Okay. I don't know, Marianne commented dubiously. End of August is always our slowest time. So many families are on vacation. That Friday, Mallory was the last to arrive at exactly 5:30. She plunked down on the floor next to Jessie and sat there scowling. What's wrong? I asked. My family is driving me insane. Why? Marianne asked as she opened the record book. Mallory rolled her eyes. We were planning to go to Sea City for vacation, the way we do every summer, but now we can't because all the vacation money is going to repair my dad's car. That stinks, said Stacy. I didn't care that much, Mallory went on. I just had a vacation in London and Paris. I did too, by the way. A bunch of us went together. It was an awesome trip. But my brothers and sisters are so unhappy. They can't talk about anything else except how disappointed they are. It's like living in the kingdom of gloom. Oh, I feel sorry for them, Marianne said. Feel sorry for me too, Mallory told her. I'm stuck there with them. They're unbearable, and I have to warn you. My mother is going to call looking for sitters. Tomorrow she has to take me to the orthodontist to have my braces checked. Whoever takes the job will be in for a nightmare. When she calls, tell her she's reached the wrong number. Christy laughed. We wouldn't do that. I'm telling you, you don't want to sit for them. They're a horror these days. As she spoke, the phone rang. For a moment, we all just stared at it, hoping it wasn't Mrs. Pike. Finally, Christy picked up. Hello, Babysitters Club. Oh, hi, Mrs. Pike. We started to laugh, but Christy gave us a sharp look. which said, "Be quiet." She took the info, then hung up. Everyone was quiet. No one volunteered for the job. "Oh, I can go," Marianne said generously. "But we need someone else too," Christy reminded her. "Originally, we had always sent 2 sitters to the Pikes because there are so many kids. Then for a while, we tried sending only 1 sitter because Mallory's triplet brothers are 10, and we thought maybe they could be helpful. They weren't, so now we're back to 2-sitter system." "I know," Marianne said with a mischievous grin. "Dawn is free. I'm sure she'd love this job." "No, that's a bad idea. Don't take Dawn. Don't take Dawn. Nobody likes Dawn." Those poor kids. Oh my gosh. I wouldn't wish Dawn on my worst enemy. Okay, well, I'm going to stop for now. I'm getting tired, so maybe back later. Don't know when.